The whirlwind could not be destroyed by brute force. Wang Lin had learned this lesson before. As his body appeared, Wang Lin's eyes flashed, and with a low roar, he chose not to invoke the cyan light shield, but instead braced himself against the whirlwind with his physical body. I want to see just how strong this whirlwind's power is compared to my ancient god true form. The whirlwind howled with incredible speed, almost instantly closing in on Wang Lin and crashing down upon him. The close contact made him feel as if he had been struck by a massive wave. Especially with the overwhelming gale within that wave, it tore at his entire being, as if wanting to rip him apart and pull him into the whirlwind. As the full force of the whirlwind enveloped him, it continually ripped and integrated into Wang Lin's body. In an instant, loud thuds echoed, and the impact caused Wang Lin to stagger back 3 steps. During the retreat, the ancient god cauldron flickered around him, and he vanished, reappearing 100 feet away, narrowly avoiding the onslaught of 4 whirlwinds. Wang Lin's expression was grave. By testing the whirlwind's power with his own body, he calculated how much force he could endure. Any ordinary cultivator would be torn to shreds under this whirlwind, unable to escape even with their essence spirit. Even with my ancient god physique, I felt pain earlier. What exactly is this whirlwind? Wang Lin remained silent, his gaze sharp as the whirlwind surged toward him once more. The cyan light around him flickered, and the cyan light shield immediately expanded to 100 feet, spinning beside him. Combining my ancient god physique with the cyan light shield should allow me to withstand this whirlwind. He moved towards the whirlwind. 3 whirlwinds were the fastest, and as Wang Lin neared, they slammed into his cyan light shield with a thunderous sound, causing the shield to flicker immediately. The unimaginable backlash forced Wang Lin to retreat. At the same time, 9 more whirlwinds howled in, racing towards him as he staggered back and collided again with the cyan light shield. Caught in the swirling vortex, Wang Lin found himself stepping back repeatedly, seemingly without end, as the whirlwinds continued to crash into him. By the time all 9 whirlwinds had dissipated, he realized he had retreated quite a distance. Despite his ancient god physique, just a 5-star, the relentless impacts of the whirlwinds, even with the protection of the cyan light shield, inflicted excruciating pain, causing cold sweat to bead on his forehead. The crisis was far from over. Ahead were 15 more whirlwinds surging toward him, almost forming a single strand, heading straight for Wang Lin. Even with the ancient god cauldron shielding him, he could not separate them due to their speed. Boom, boom, boom. A cataclysmic cacophony reverberated as the 15 whirlwinds collided with the cyan light shield almost simultaneously. They dissipated, morphing into a cataclysmic force that slammed the shield down, nearly pressing it against Wang Lin's body. He felt a violent jolt and coughed up a mouthful of blood, but he forcefully suppressed it, his body flying back like a kite with a severed string. He plummeted thousands of feet away, creating a circular shockwave that blasted outward, lifting up clouds of black sand that obscured the sky. It took some time for the dust to settle. In the ground lay a massive crater, and Wang Lin's ancient god physique had shrunk back to that of an ordinary person. A wry smile crossed his face as he struggled to rise from the pit. Gazing at the flat expanse of the black sand desert, Wang Lin exhaled deeply, a hint of lingering fear evident in his eyes. A 5-star ancient god physique, and this is the first time I've sustained such damage. What kind of power does this whirlwind possess? If it gets another chance to tear apart, I won't be able to withstand it, he said, his face darkening. After merging with his clone, he could contend with the advanced stage of pure nirvana cultivators. He had believed that his cultivation, aside from the late-stage pure nirvana and the shattered nirvana elder, was sufficiently secure, especially with his powerful ancient god physique. But now, Wang Lin sensed a real threat, surveying the black sand desert around him. It felt like he was back in the ancient god's domain. He had to tread carefully, for a single mistake could be fatal. I've been a bit too complacent lately. The rise in my cultivation and the merging of my clone with my true self have made me less cautious than before. Wang Lin mused. He clenched his fist tightly, a newfound determination flashing in his eyes. This expression had not surfaced in a long time, but now, after facing the peril of the black sand desert, Wang Lin had regained his old caution and wariness. This is the cave mansion of immortal Emperor Qinglin. Danger lurks everywhere. I can't afford to let my guard down for a moment. I must remain vigilant at all times. Wang Lin took a deep breath, his divine sense not dispersing entirely, but carefully swirling around him. He began to move forward cautiously. With his mental acuity, he naturally deduced that the appearance of the gray mist, while having a certain random chance, was likely caused by the dispersal of his divine sense. Though the initial power of the gray mist was strong, Wang Lin could resist it. However, now that he had calmed his mind, there was a vague realization within him. If he were to release his divine sense again, perhaps it would not be the gray mist that would appear, but something else entirely. This feeling was very profound, born from the subtle divine thought that had formed over the 1,000 years of his cultivation, from his comprehension of the heavens and earth. After pondering for a moment, Wang Lin's eyes flickered with a glimmer of insight. He slapped his storage pouch, and the soul banner immediately appeared in his hand. With a flick, the banner unfolded. Wang Lin reached into it with his left hand and immediately grasped the soul essence. This soul essence, with a fierce expression, had lost its intelligence under the refining power of the soul banner. Upon its appearance, it respectfully floated beside Wang Lin. Wang Lin stored the soul banner away and, with his right hand, tapped its forehead, leaving behind a trace of divine sense within. Having completed these actions, he didn't hesitate. With a flash, he headed forward. After a short incense's worth of time, Wang Lin had already distanced himself from the soul essence. He took a deep breath and did not release his divine sense. Instead, he focused his divine thought. Instantly, the divine sense left on the soul essence expanded outward, but in that very moment, an overwhelming sense of danger surged into Wang Lin's mind. Without thinking, he immediately severed the connection. At the moment the divine sense was cut off, Wang Lin vaguely saw, at the location of the soul essence, the sky above it swirling with winds and clouds. A gray light descended from the heavens, directly landing on the soul essence. In that instant, the soul essence disintegrated into nothingness. Cold sweat dripped from Wang Lin's forehead. Thankfully, he had already prepared to sever the connection quickly, and no change occurred in his vicinity. He stared at the distant sky, feeling a tingling sensation on his scalp. Although the gray light vanished instantly, the sensation it left on Wang Lin was far more terrifying than several whirlpools combined. After a long period of silence, Wang Lin turned and continued his journey across the black desert. Time gradually passed. There was no distinction between day and night here. The sky was always a grayish hue, as if a dust storm was ever present. After a month, Wang Lin had traveled quite a distance in this desolate desert. Throughout this time, he hadn't encountered a single person, nor had he seen any living creatures. There were no plants here, and the land stretched out endlessly, always filled with barren black sand. Over time, even his mood seemed to grow dark. Wang Lin's expression became more and more somber. This place felt like a dead end, a prison, gradually filling one's heart with despair, a despair for life itself. Even though cultivators are far from comparable to mortals, if one were to remain here for long, the mind would be filled with darkness, gradually influencing their essence spirit. Their personality would grow increasingly irritable, and they would be on the verge of being demonized. If a demonic cultivator were here, it would be like a holy land, where cultivation would surely improve. But in the end, due to the complete demonic corruption of their essence spirit, they would become mindless demons. Wang Lin continued his journey in silence, thankfully not encountering the strange gray mist again over the past month. However, the sense of crisis never dissipated. On the contrary, as he pressed forward, the danger grew stronger. Several times, Wang Lin distinctly felt a faint fluctuation of divine sense passing through the air like the wind. Yet, no matter how hard he tried to probe, he could never locate the source of this divine sense. He couldn't fly in the air. During this month, he had once again taken out the soul essence to attempt ascending, but when the soul essence rose beyond 20 zhang, it collapsed without a sound. His feet sank into the sand, and Wang Lin's expression grew even darker. He could faintly feel black energy moving across his face, but his eyes remained clear and focused. I wonder how Situ is doing. Situ's cultivation is close to the demonic path. If he were in the same environment, he would surely make progress. Wang Lin silently murmured, raising his right hand to grab his face. Instantly, strands of black energy emerged from his face, merging into his right hand. Looking at the black energy in his hand, Wang Lin felt a faint trace of the demonic aura from when he had once scattered the demons. Demonic chi. Wang Lin's eyes flickered, and he clenched his right hand tightly. At once, the black energy collapsed, scattering in all directions. Within moments, it had spread over a radius of 100 zhang before gradually dissipating. Wang Lin paused, staring at the fading black energy from 100 zhang away, his eyes gradually becoming sharper. Perhaps this way, Wang Lin murmured and continued walking. Time passed once again. Another month slipped by, and after being trapped here for 2 months, Wang Lin's body radiated dense black energy. The swirling black energy made him appear somewhat gaunt, like a demonic god. As his footsteps slowly continued, the sense of impending doom grew stronger with each passing day. On this day, Wang Lin walked forward with his eyes closed. His expression, aside from a persistent gloom, showed no change. Yet suddenly, a faint trace of divine sense swept across from the distance of the black sand desert, streaking past Wang Lin as he soared into the air at tremendous speed. The 9th time, Wang Lin didn't pause, murmuring to himself. Over the past 2 months, this marked the 9th instance of a divine sense brushing past him. What weighed on Wang Lin's heart was that all 9 had been distinct, clearly, 9 different individuals. 3 breaths later, the divine sense retreated, sweeping past Wang Lin once more. His expression remained calm, as if entirely unaware, and he continued walking forward. Still not enough? After the sense withdrew, Wang Lin raised his head and looked into the distance, his eyes flickering as he muttered. In the black sand desert, where no sun or moon marked the passage of time, it was easy to lose track of it. Had Wang Lin not long been accustomed to loneliness and isolation, he might have gone mad. Compared to the solitude here, decades of meditation, or even a century spent in the ancient godland paled in comparison. For Wang Lin, this degree of loneliness meant little. As he walked, his figure gradually vanished into the distance. The farther he went, the more distant his solitary silhouette became, like a reflection of the emptiness within. One man, one world, existing in silence, walking in silence, with no end in sight. A month passed, then another, and another. In this black sand desert, Wang Lin walked for 6 months. For an ordinary cultivator, such a span of endless wandering, not meditating, not cultivating, but simply walking through this desolate place, would be enough to drive one insane. It was a trial of solitude, bearing the weight of the world alone. But for Wang Lin, this was nothing. In the endless expanse of the black desert, a surge of divine sense swept through the air, brushing past him. In that instant, Wang Lin's head snapped up, a chilling gleam flashing in his eyes. The 32nd one. My demonic aura is finally enough. At that moment, Wang Lin was shrouded in swirling mist. From afar, his entire body radiated an overwhelming demonic aura, like a black flame raging in the desert. That divine sense brushed past him and vanished far behind. Moments later, the 32nd divine sense suddenly recoiled at great speed. But just as it neared Wang Lin, the demonic flames surrounding his body erupted in an instant. 6 months of waiting. 6 months of accumulation. 6 months of silent observation. Over that time, Wang Lin had carefully nurtured the demonic aura born from the desert's environment, keeping it separate from his essence spirit. And now, all of it exploded forth. The demonic flames surged skyward, as if a black flame sought to devour the heavens. In midair, they coalesced into a massive demonic shadow, lashing out to swallow the retreating divine sense. In that moment of devouring, part of the divine sense was forcibly consumed by the flame. Wang Lin could clearly feel a cold stream of primordial energy rushing through the demonic aura into his heart and mind. Though some of the divine sense managed to escape, rapidly contracting, it somehow fled from the flames and sped into the distance. From within the black mist, Wang Lin's eyes flared with a cold light. He had waited 6 months for this moment. Everything was unfolding exactly as planned. As the divine sense tried to escape, Wang Lin suddenly spread his arms. A low growl, held in for half a year, burst from his throat. In that instant, all the demonic mist around his body surged outward like a storm, blasting into the sky. As trails of black chi spiraled upward, the mist from his body expanded and rapidly coalesced in the air, engulfing hundreds of meters in moments. Beneath the billowing dark mist, Wang Lin's true form, concealed for half a year, was finally revealed. Anyone familiar with him would be shocked upon seeing him now. Though his robes remained unchanged, his hair had grown long and jet black, billowing wildly despite the still air. His face had sunk in deeply, skin stretched taut over bone, making him appear gaunt and skeletal. Most striking were the dark veins spidering around his deeply sunken eyes. The eerie black tendrils made him look nothing like a normal cultivator, but more like a full-fledged demonic cultivator. More than that, a menacing aura now radiated from him, altering his very presence. Ordinarily, half a year of absorbing demonic aura wouldn't have caused such a drastic transformation, nor would it have generated such a massive reserve of demonic power. Normally, one would need decades of cultivation here to achieve this effect. But Wang Lin was no ordinary righteous cultivator. His 1,000+ years of cultivation walked both righteous and demonic paths. In particular, when he used the demon transformation finger, his body would in that moment. With an extreme force, he unleashed the supreme divine art. As he spread his arms, Wang Lin's eyes revealed a crazed murderous intent. The demonic aura above him spun rapidly, expanding outward continuously. At the very moment when the divine sense was about to flee, Wang Lin roared loudly. With that roar, the endless, swirling demonic aura violently shattered, just like the small ball of demonic aura in Wang Lin's hand half a year ago. In the instant it cracked, it spread outward at an incredible speed. The spread was so fast that all one could see was a swirling cloud of demonic aura in the sky, which immediately covered a vast area of several 100,000 miles. The divine sense was instantly enveloped within it. But this alone wasn't enough to meet Wang Lin's needs. It was only the second step of his plan, with the third step still to come. At the moment when the demonic aura spread across several 100,000 miles, Wang Lin stomped his right foot forward with immense force. The ground exploded with a loud crash, creating a deep pit. Wang Lin shot forward like lightning, moving at an unimaginable speed. At the same time, the black veins on his face twisted. Demonic aura continually poured out from his body. With a quick hand gesture, his right hand pointed upwards, using the power of demon transformation to control the demonic aura in the sky, slowing its dispersal slightly. As he moved forward, Wang Lin remained within the swirling demonic aura. At this moment, Wang Lin's mind was clear. He knew that time was critical. Every moment the demonic aura surrounded him, large amounts of it dissipated. If he didn't find the person emitting the divine sense before all the aura dissipated, his half-year-long plan would fail. He reached the fastest speed of his life, transforming into a shooting star, heading straight toward the divine sense he had locked onto, extending rapidly. From above, one could clearly see this astonishing scene. A massive ring of demonic aura covered hundreds of thousands of miles, moving forward at high speed, but the ring of demonic aura was rapidly dissipating. Beneath the demonic aura, a shadow zipped by like lightning, completely hidden in the blur, leaving only remnants behind. In the black sand desert, for Wang Lin to leave, the sweeping divine senses were key. However, here, Wang Lin couldn't trace them with his divine sense. Though he didn't know why the other's divine sense scattering hadn't triggered any changes, Wang Lin couldn't risk it. He had no choice but to endure and wait. But he didn't have decades to wait. If it really came to that, he wouldn't be able to help Zhou Yi, let alone Situ Nan, to solve the poison. It all began half a year ago, when he discovered a trace of demonic aura inside his body. When this demonic aura was crushed, it immediately expanded to a radius of 100 feet. In that instant, Wang Lin felt a profound emptiness within that 100 feet. In that emptiness, he had an epiphany. When he tried to scatter his divine sense, It immediately spread through the 100 feet without any resistance, and nothing changed in the process. This discovery immediately opened a door for him in the midst of his confusion. To accumulate more demonic aura and shorten the time significantly, Wang Lin resolutely chose the demon transformation finger. By performing it countless times every day, his speed of absorbing demonic aura was like that of a true demonic cultivator. This led to the massive demonic aura Wang Lin now controlled, but the cost was high. Not only did his appearance drastically change, but he also began to be plagued by demonic thoughts. Now, as he sped ahead, his divine sense spread out across hundreds of thousands of miles, slowly contracting as the demonic aura dissipated and the distance shortened. Though his divine sense spread within the swirling demonic aura without causing any disturbance, Wang Lin understood that once his divine sense was free from the surrounding demonic aura and dispersed further, it would surely trigger a change in the Black Sand Desert. He still vividly remembered the gray light that descended from the sky during his experiment 6 months ago. Now he raced forward, his divine sense spreading, locking onto the shrinking divine sense ahead. In just a few breaths, the demonic aura swirling around him, despite being controlled by the demon transformation finger, was still dissipating on a large scale. Now, less than half remained. Faster. Wang Lin gritted his teeth, roaring inwardly. The fleeing divine sense ahead suddenly stopped, no longer fleeing but heading straight for the sky. It's been severed. Wang Lin's eyes flashed. He had anticipated this move. Severing this divine sense was a way to hide their location from being discovered. In that instant when the divine sense was severed, Wang Lin spurted out a large mouthful of blood. The blood light flashed brightly, and Wang Lin's body plunged into the blood light, shooting forward like a blur. Blood escape. The blood escape technique was a self-inflicted injury that granted an extreme burst of speed. Half a year ago, Wang Lin didn't use it in the face of the whirlwind because the whirlwind continually absorbed the gray mist from the world, increasing its speed. The blood escape technique could only offer a temporary burst, not lasting long enough to escape. A flash of blood light erupted, and Wang Lin's speed doubled instantly. He ignored the severed divine sense and charged straight ahead without changing direction. Taking advantage of the now shrunken demonic aura swirling overhead, which had dwindled to half its original size, he burst forward, pursuing the severed thread of aura relentlessly. In the distance, a massive black silhouette gradually appeared at the edge of Wang Lin's sight. His pupils contracted sharply. That silhouette, he knew it all too well. It was a towering black pagoda, standing solitary in the desolate Black Sand Desert. Waves of demonic aura billowed from within, and even from afar, he could feel the madness-inducing pressure it radiated. Wang Lin had seen such a black pagoda once before, in the land of demonic spirits, within the heavenly demon province. Just a single cold snort from it back, then had nearly caused his physical body to collapse. Even within the safety of his cave mansion, he couldn't escape the divine arts from within that tower. If not for the jolt of the ascension fruit, he would have completely lost himself to the scattered demon tower. Scattered demon. Beluo once said that the ancient demon commanded 9 scattered demons. Back then, I only encountered one, the only one present in the outside world, sealed in the land of demonic spirits. I never expected to find another scattered demon tower here, inside immortal Emperor Qing Lin's cave mansion. Wang Lin's eyes narrowed, and he came to an abrupt halt. His complexion was slightly flushed, a side effect of using blood escape. The moment he stopped, the demonic aura in the sky finally dissipated completely. A scattered demon, within the immortal Emperor's cave mansion, and Beluo hurrying here. It matches what Consort Huayan said. After immortal Emperor Qing Lin's collapse in the immortal realm, he encountered 2 extra-dimensional entities and was gravely injured, going into seclusion here. Those 2 extra-dimensional entities must be none other than the ancient demon Beluo and the ancient demon. The moment Wang Lin laid eyes on the black pagoda, clarity struck him like lightning. Thoughts surged through his mind, his eyes glinting sharply as he faintly grasped a crucial thread. In the land of demonic spirits, the ancient demon Beluo was split into 9 fragments, each sealed in a different location. Over countless years, A region that should have been part of the immortal realm became tainted with demonic aura. Who sealed Beluo? And why is it that only scattered demons exist there, yet no trace of the ancient demon? Where is the ancient demon? Based on this analysis, the ancient demon must be right here, in the fifth cave mansion, where immortal Emperor Qinglin went into seclusion. Suddenly, Wang Lin's mind cleared. He had long harbored suspicions. Now, with the sight of the demonic tower, endless speculation surged forth. Scattered demon. I wonder, with my current cultivation, can I face it in battle? Primordial energy surged within him, suppressing the injuries caused by blood escape. A fierce glint flashed across his face. After more than half a year of suppression, combined with the demonic aura's corrosion, Wang Lin radiated murderous intent. His appearance turned savage. He took a step forward and directly charged. The black pagoda seemed close, but in the vast, flat expanse of the black sand desert, it was still some distance away. Yet to Wang Lin, it posed no obstacle. With each stride, he rapidly closed the gap. But just as he advanced, the ground around the black pagoda trembled. Countless grains of sand converged from all directions. In the blink of an eye, dozens of humanoid figures made of sand and dust emerged from the ground just tens of feet ahead of Wang Lin. These figures were dressed in ancient attire, like people from a bygone era. As they appeared, a surge of demonic aura roared forth. Each of their auras connected in the air, merging into a strange, spectral image. It was an old man, with ghostly lights flickering in his eyes. His gaze locked onto Wang Lin. His illusory right hand extended forward, and immediately, the sand figures below let out low roars and charged in unison. In an instant, divine arts filled the air. Multicolored lights flared toward Wang Lin. With a roar, the fury in Wang Lin's heart erupted. After months of suppression, he didn't hesitate. In a single step, he closed the gap to one of the sand figures. His right index finger moved with him and jabbed directly at the figure's forehead. Boom! The sand figure trembled and crumbled into a heap of scattered sand. Mere puppets think they can stop me? Wang Lin flickered like lightning. In the next moment, he appeared beside another sand puppet. With his right hand forming a claw, divine power surged forth. One sweep, and the puppet collapsed in an explosion. By now, the divine arts from the other puppets were closing in, transforming into various forms and flashing with multicolored brilliance as they hurtled toward Wang Lin. At the last instant, Wang Lin's right eye flickered with cyan light. The cyan light shield emerged, sweeping forward with thunderous force. Every divine art was blocked a full 10 feet from Wang Lin. Not a single one reached him. Wang Lin's body was like lightning. As he moved through the battlefield, his right index finger swept out repeatedly, each pass obliterating a sand puppet upon contact. Boom, boom. Wang Lin's face darkened with more intense hostility. His body swayed, and in the blink of an eye, he appeared before the last sand puppet. He leaped up, and as he rose, his right hand landed on the puppet's head and seized it fiercely. With a deafening sound, he soared into the air, but his ascent didn't exceed a limit of 20 zhang. Summon the wind. In the moment of rising, Wang Lin formed a seal with his right hand and pointed suddenly at the elderly figure that materialized from the demonic aura in the sky. The elderly figure's face showed shock. The earlier events had happened so quickly that he hadn't even had time to react. The battle was over before he could comprehend it. To him, the young man before him, filled with such malice, seemed even more like a demon than himself. What he didn't know was that, over the past half year in this black sand desert, the accumulation of demonic energy had triggered Wang Lin's inherent demonic nature, causing it to resurface with a vengeance. With a single shout to summon the wind, the black desert was immediately swept by violent winds, transforming into 4 massive black dragons roaring toward the sky. But this time, something strange happened. Each of the 4 dragons had a long, twisted horn growing from their heads. Their mouths were filled with sharp teeth, which were bared in an intimidating display that would make anyone's scalp tingle with fear. These were no mere celestial black dragons. They were clearly demonic dragons. The 4 demonic dragons appeared, not exhaling cold winds as before, but instead, they sucked in deeply, causing the surrounding black winds to reverse and be devoured by them. As the black winds were swallowed, a series of loud thuds rang out. Black dragon armor manifested on their bodies. Though incomplete, just a small portion of the armor appeared. Yet, the fierce spikes and twisted armor only added to the terrifying aura of these 4 demonic dragons. This scene was shocking to not only the old man, but even Wang Lin himself. However, there was no time for him to think. Only one thought echoed in his mind. This is no celestial technique. It's a demonic assault. With a point of his finger, the 4 demonic dragons roared and charged directly toward the elderly figure made of demonic energy. The old man's expression changed dramatically. With clenched teeth, he formed a hand seal and prepared to use his divine powers. But in that instant, the 4 demonic dragons roared in unison, creating an earth-shattering sound wave that shot up into the black sand sky. This roaring sound wave was filled with an overwhelming demonic intent. The old man's body trembled, and the spell he was about to cast was forcefully interrupted. He retreated hastily, trying to make his way back to the distant black tower. The 4 demonic dragons pursued relentlessly, their massive mouths filled with sharp teeth, and their drool falling from the sky in a chilling spectacle. Killing intent filled Wang Lin's eyes. He moved forward, keeping himself within 20 zhang in altitude, while the 4 dragons followed suit. The old man's eyes showed deep fear as he fled toward the black tower. However, with his cultivation being at the early stage of glimpse of nirvana, he couldn't possibly escape from the mutated wind-calling black dragons. As the 4 dragons closed in, the old man screamed in despair. "Demon servant, save me!" His cry had barely left his mouth when he felt a darkness before his eyes, followed by intense pain, and he lost all consciousness. The 4 demonic dragons fought like starving beasts, nearly tearing each other apart, until one of them swallowed the old man whole. At that moment, dozens of figures flew out of the black tower, each clad in black robes, their heads covered. They floated in the air, eyes cold as they focused on the 4 demonic dragons. There are a total of 32 divine senses. The old man who died just now was one of them, and there are still 31 left. Wang Lin, having scanned the divine senses in this area over the past half year, remembered them clearly. There were only 32 divine senses here. The figures flying out from the black tower were all of impressive cultivation. As they appeared, Wang Lin's face revealed a murderous expression. He understood clearly that if he wanted to leave, the key to everything lay here. If he didn't kill them, they would never let him go. With a surge of energy, Wang Lin charged toward the group of people, surrounded by the 4 demonic dragons. Demon Venerable Slaughter thought. An old voice rang out from among the black-robed figures. In that instant, the black-robed figures all formed hand seals, pressing their fingertips to their brows. Immediately, vast waves of demonic energy surged out and rapidly formed a phantom of a demon in the sky above them. Before the phantom could fully materialize, Wang Lin wasted no time. He pointed with his right hand, and the 4 demonic dragons roared as they rushed toward the phantom. At the same time, Wang Lin's face turned grim, and with a single step, he shot forward like a sharp sword, heading straight for the group of figures. As he surged forward, Wang Lin's right hand reached into the void and grabbed. In an instant, the god-killing spear condensed in his hand, radiating with murderous intent. He hurled it directly forward. The god-killing spear shot forward like a streak of black lightning, rapidly closing the gap and catching up to the 4 demonic dragons, transforming into a 5th dragon that collided with the phantom. With a deafening explosion, the earth trembled, and even the dim sky seemed on the brink of collapse. The demon dragon dispersed, and the god-slaying spear shattered into nothingness. The demonic shadow it had summoned let out a furious roar, releasing a violent shockwave that forced Wang Lin to stagger back several steps, his gaze dark and brooding. Following the roar, the demonic shadow twisted grotesquely before shattering into countless fragments. The black-clad figures who had summoned it trembled violently and collapsed one after another. But in the instant they crumbled, Wang Lin took a single step forward, so swift that in a flash, he was right before them. With a sweeping motion of his right hand, the heads of those black-clad men were sent flying one after another. Each head was different in appearance, yet all were shrouded in swirling black mist. "Your heads will serve a great purpose," Wang Lin said coldly, his eyes locking onto the black pagoda just 10 zhang tall. His gaze landed on its peak. There, silent and still, stood a lone figure. I am Ming Hai, first servant of the 5 elements water-robed demon. Kill me, and you may gain the desert solitary smoke from the rivers and mountains painting of immortal Emperor Qinglin. The figure's face was completely hidden behind gray armor. Only a pair of cold, merciless eyes shone through, gleaming like blades from within the helm. His voice was flat and devoid of emotion as he spoke, eyes silently fixed on Wang Lin. Wang Lin's expression darkened. With a wave of his right hand, he swept all the severed heads into his storage pouch, then looked up at the armored man. From Ming Hai's aura, Wang Lin could sense cultivation on par with the late pure nirvana stage. What was more strange was the presence of not only traces of demonic aura on the man, but faint threads of immortal qi as well. Am I the only one here? Wang Lin asked calmly, eyes steady. The man remained silent for a moment, then slowly shook his head. His eyes suddenly flared with light as he said in a low voice, "Defeat me, and you'll learn everything." With that, he stepped forward. That single step propelled him from the top of the black pagoda into the air. As he rose, his right hand slashed forward, and 5 piercing howls rang out, transforming into 5 black streams of smoke that tore toward Wang Lin like blades. In midair, the black smoke looked as though it could rend the void itself. As it sped toward him, it carved 5 savage trails through the sky, as if ripping the heavens apart. Wang Lin's pupils shrank. He immediately retreated several steps. The 5 streams of black smoke struck the ground where he had just stood, exploding with thunderous crashes and kicking up waves of sand and dust across the black sand desert. In moments, the swirling dust had formed towering waves several dozen zhang high, crashing toward Wang Lin with a deafening roar. Wang Lin's eyes gleamed. Forming a hand seal, he thrust his finger forward and shouted, "Rain calling." The heavens instantly changed. Winds rose, clouds churned, and endless rain began to manifest, countless crystal droplets forming in the air. At Wang Lin's command, they all fell at once. Each droplet was infused with world energy. As they landed, the surging sandstorms were muffled by low, heavy booms, slowly dissolving under the force of the rain. Wang Lin didn't pause. He continued to retreat while his right hand shifted into a new seal. Rain surged from all directions, condensing wildly until nearly the entire area within several thousand zhang was covered in water. Then, with a flick of both hands, the falling rain transformed into tens of thousands of razor-sharp blades, each one like a sword, piercing straight ahead. The resulting boom was earth-shattering. Under the torrent, the sand waves were torn apart in an instant. At that moment, Ming Hai charged forward, tearing through the disintegrating sandstorm. With a stab of his right finger, he growled, "Sand explosion!" The sand beneath his feet instantly trembled and surged skyward, forming a dense barrage of sharpened sand that howled from all directions toward Wang Lin. Even farther out, sand began to wriggle and writhe toward the battlefield as if drawn to the chaos, endless and overwhelming. From above, it looked like massive waves closing in from all sides to devour Wang Lin whole. His expression changed. Opening his mouth, he spat out an object. The sealing immortal mark of the 18 hells appeared before him and instantly expanded, transforming into a mountain-like form. With a shout of soldiers from scattered beams, Wang Lin waved his right hand. A chorus of ghostly wails echoed across heaven and earth. Crystalline lights flared across the land, transforming into soul essences. Among them was the soul of the blood ancestor. There were also countless immortal souls, and the spirits of those Wang Lin had slain. These spectral warriors roared as they emerged, silencing all other sounds and overpowering even the howling of the sandstorm. Each one positioned itself in a protective ring around Wang Lin. With a single thought, Wang Lin sent the army of souls charging outward. Among these souls, some belonged to those from the Slaughter Domain realm, new arrivals who, at this moment, appear with a strong killing intent. As countless grains of sand rise and charge towards Wang Lin, they immediately make contact with the souls, and a rumbling sound echoes through the world, reverberating in every direction. Ming Hai's expression remains calm. With his right hand, he touches his forehead, and instantly, a white light flickers from his brow, transforming into a small 3-inch sword. This sword is entirely white. The moment it appears, an astonishing sword aura surges forth. The power of this aura is so immense that it almost seems capable of tearing apart the sky itself. This sword was bestowed by the immortal emperor many years ago, named Feng Zhu. Ming Hai's voice carries a hint of melancholy as he lifts his head. He flicks the small sword forward. Immediately, with a ringing sound, a flash of white light shoots toward the front, moving at such incredible speed that it turns into a white line, rapidly approaching Wang Lin. This sword has a spirit. To die under it is your fate. Ming Hai sighs softly. Though his expression is concealed by the black mist, his sigh reaches Wang Lin's ears. Without a second thought, Wang Lin clenches his right fist, and in an instant, the ancient god phantom materializes behind him. With one step, he pierces through the vast sandstorm, making a thundering sound as he punches toward the approaching white light. With a loud boom, a whirlwind appears in front of Wang Lin, sweeping through all the sand, and suddenly, it collides with the white light. In that instant, a world-shaking sword aura erupts, and even Ling Tianho's sword aura pales in comparison. This aura shoots like a rainbow, and the vortex created by Wang Lin's punch is shattered from the center. It is forcefully sliced apart. Wang Lin's face darkens, and he immediately retreats. His right hand punches forward several times, and with the deafening sounds of explosions, he retreats 100 meters, narrowly avoiding the sword aura's edge. Ming Hai shows a trace of disappointment in his eyes, turning to walk toward the black pagoda. The small sword breaks through all obstacles in the whirlwind, flashing with white light as it charges toward Wang Lin once more. Wang Lin frowns tightly. His right eye flashes with cyan light, and at the moment the white light approaches, the cyan light shield materializes before him, surrounding him as it collides with the white light. With a series of crashing sounds, the ancient god phantom behind Wang Lin becomes more solid, and in his silence, the ancient god star mark on his forehead subtly flickers. The inheritance of the ancient god, too, rapidly flashes in his mind. Taking a deep breath, Wang Lin raises both hands in front of him, his fingers interlacing to form a strange seal. Seizing the power of the heavens, drawing the spirit of the universe, binding the ancient clan, the eternal thought. The words of the ancient god slowly emerge from Wang Lin's mouth. As the voice rises and falls, the ancient god phantom behind him raises both hands, forming the same seal. Wang Lin has inherited many ancient god techniques, but the number of techniques that can be performed with the power of the 5 stars is few. Apart from summoning the ancient power and creating the illusory destroyer spear, there is one more divine art. This technique is the limit of what a 5-star ancient god can achieve, known as divine power. The target of this art, besides the white sword, is mostly the man called Ming Hai. Wang Lin's eyes gleam with a cold light as he presses his hands forward. Instantly, the entire body of ancient god power surges madly, pouring out from his forehead and gathering in his hands, condensing into the seal, seizing the power of the heavens. In that instant, the entire world seems to change. The dark sky is torn apart by massive arms, and the earth trembles as countless grains of sand roll back in all directions. At the same time, the souls formed by the scattering of beings are immediately struck and charged forward. As the world changes violently, a thread of heavenly power condenses from the boundless starry sky outside the 5th cave mansion and the land of demonic spirits, breaking through the East Sea's tidal whirlpool and merging into it. Within the land of demonic spirits, it surges and breaks through everything, following the 9 dragons formation as it rushes into the 5th cave mansion. At this moment, on a wooden bridge inside the cave mansion, the man covered in black mist, sitting cross-legged in meditation, suddenly feels a violent tremor in the white jade vial floating before him. A voice emerges from the black mist. The figure's eyes suddenly burst with eerie light as he raises his head, seeing a black vortex ahead. A thread of heavenly power erupts from the vortex, heading straight for the jade vial. To think it can summon the power of the external world. The voice from within the black mist reveals surprise. I thought there were only 4 people to be cautious about, but now, another one has appeared. A muttering voice emerges from the mist, and with a flicker of eerie light, a dry arm suddenly stretches out, forcefully pinching the white jade vial. At that instant, the heavenly power that had entered immediately begins to collapse, dissipating in vast waves. As the figure in the mist crushes the incoming heavenly power, the ancient god's voice echoes once more in the black sand desert. Seize the spirit of the universe. As soon as the words were spoken, the ancient god phantom behind Wang Lin suddenly let out a roar. The roar shook the heavens and the earth, as if there were a force powerful enough to split the world apart, drawing out the soul of the mountains, the soul of the stars, and even the very soul of the universe. The universe originally had no soul, but the ancient god technique could extract an intent from it, and will. This technique, known as divine power extraction, was an extremely powerful divine art among the ancient gods. However, its effectiveness varied depending on the cultivator's level of cultivation. If a 9-star ancient god used divine power extraction to draw out the soul of the universe, they could even extract the rules of a realm and use them for themselves, altering the heavenly path and reversing the universe. Wang Lin, at this moment, was still only a 5-star ancient god and could not accomplish such feats. Yet, due to his status as a member of the royal ancient god bloodline, he still caused the black sand desert to tremble. In the cave mansion, on the wooden bridge, the phantom in the mist, who had just shattered the incoming force of heaven and earth, immediately felt the white jade bottle begin to tremble more violently. It was as if a force was constantly emanating from within, pulling everything toward it. The black wooden stopper at the mouth of the bottle actually contracted slightly, as if it were being sucked into the bottle. The figure within the mist's eyes suddenly flashed with a ghostly light,